Today we have with us Ken Unger, America's soul doctor. And what I want to know, Ken, is who needs a soul doctor? How exactly can you help our audience?
I think we all need a soul doctor. I know that I've had things in my life that needed to be healed, which is how I started doing this. And you look at America today, we've got $200 million a day being spent on antidepressants, which only treats symptoms. We've got a terrible problem with obesity and yo-yo dieting and people who can't lose weight and keep it off. We've got sexual addictions and drug addictions and work addictions. We've got talkaholics and chocoholics. And the reality is people need more than what they've been getting from traditional therapy.
What do you say to the person who struggled with obesity for 20 years or the alcoholic? How can you transform their lives in simply a weekend?
Whenever a person is engaged in a compulsive pattern of behavior like that, what we're seeing is that underneath it, there's an unhealed pain. And there's an old adage in medicine that the physician sets the bone, but God heals the pain. And what we feel is going on for people is that if you heal the pain, they don't need the aspirin. And so if the underlying problem makes a person overeat or causes them to feel like they have to find solace in a bottle is resolved, then all of a sudden they're no longer an alcoholic. They're no longer addicted to food in an unhealthy way.
But what makes Ken Unger and his approach to healing different from all the other self-help experts out there?
Lots of people talk about healing, but not many people really understand what it means. And when I say that, I'm not saying that cognitive therapy isn't good. It is, but 90% of what's wrong with us, 90% of what we've experienced, we've forgotten. And so if you can only treat what you're consciously aware of, you can only treat 10% of the problem. Where we differ is that we go for the emotional roots, and we believe that if a person has an emotional problem, they need an emotional solution. And once they find that solution, it's much more powerful in changing their life than endless emotional archaeological digs.
Well, you have this book out with the audacious title, The Ultimate Breakthrough. How can you make such a claim?
Well, the subtitle is Spiritual Therapy for Emotional Pain. And the reason we can say that is because we've got the experience now that the book is out there of people realizing it's not a self-help book, it's a self-healing book. It's actually a book that heals. And we've got people contacting us saying 4 or 5 weeks into reading the book, which I encourage them to do very slowly and do all the exercises, their life is changing. And by the time they're done with the book, their life is really changed, and those things they couldn't change about themselves are resolved.
Well, Ken, sign me up for the first copy. We're out of time, but I would like to invite you back, so perhaps you can come back and do some experiential exercises with our audience members. Audience, how would you feel about that?
See, I think that would be great. I'd love to do that, and I look forward to it. Over the last 30 years, I've done a lot of radio and television interviews. I've always been invited back. I had an award-winning radio program called Rock Salt that was on for 5 years and won an Angel Award. I was in a movie, I've done some television. I've done all kinds of things. The thing that changes people so powerfully about the work that I do is that it's experiential. It's just not a matter of the head, and it's not a matter of giving people drugs. And so, when I do radio and television from now on, I want the audience to experience the kind of healing that I can bring to them. I've always said that I could help anybody who really wants it and nobody who doesn't. But I truly believe that the work that I do could help heal anybody of anything.